Hey guys, Iceluslol here, and today we've got a Thresh game for you. This is jdb100 in the Bronze 2 elo, and it's on NA. So right away, we've got Thresh Jinx on the bot lane versus a Tristana Janna. So the Thresh Jinx lane is going to be the all-in lane, and the Tristana Janna is going to be the kind of disengage farm lane. Tristana Janna is kind of a weird lane. There's not super great all-in potential, but there is really good kite and knock because they have double knockbacks. They've got a knock up, they have 2 slows, and there's a lot of like control there. So basically their game plan is going to be get Tristana to late game, and as the Thresh player you want to get Jinx to late game because Tristana and Jinx both scale extremely well. Nice hook. Oh, that was perfect. So not only did you land the hook, but you also went in at level 2. Really nice. That was a great play. Like, that's one of the things about Jinx is if you can land a hook for her, she can follow up really well. It's just Jinx isn't super great like on her own. Like, she can poke a little bit, but she's really good at following up. So I actually like Thresh Jinx a lot. So that was a great hook. You applied a lot of pressure with that. You timed it perfectly too, like right when you hit 2 pretty much, and they were 1. So that was fantastic. That's good you're trying to land auto attacks too. Like that's a great idea. And you guys are kind of pushed up right now, so I'd like to see you push the wave since Jinx is kind of pushing. Oh, you're just gonna fight. Okay. And you got him. Nice job. Okay. So your positioning there was just a little far up past the middle of the lane, so you're a little more susceptible to ganks, but it didn't matter because nobody ganked you. And aside from that, I mean, everything you did there was great. You applied pressure. I'd like to see you ward though. Okay, you do finally ward. So a little bit late ward. I'd probably try to ward like a minute ago, like 4:30 instead. But that's the only thing I would say you could improve on right now. Mechanically, I think that you're playing pretty well. I'd like to see you maybe try to push the wave into the tower though. And you can just attack minions. Because, like, even if you land a hook right now, it looks like the jungle's coming. Okay. So, you had the ward, but you didn't really pay attention to it, but I don't think it matters. Yeah, because Mummy pre-6 isn't that bad. You did a really good job there of tanking the Mummy bandage. So that was good. And you're going to pull Mummy back. So you guys get a kill here on Mummy. Okay, so nice counter gank by your Hecarim, but I would just say, like, you had the ward there, you didn't really read it that great, so it didn't really matter, like I said, because Mummy is like a weak jungler, or weak ganker early, but it could have been bad, like if they had a stronger jungler, or if Mummy had landed on Jinx or something. So I would just say, in the future, try to react a little bit faster. I understand you're focused on zoning Tristana out and trying to kill them, which is great. But just try to use the information you have a little bit more efficiently next time, that's all. So you're also maxing Lantern here. I don't really know why. Basically, like, it's not that you can't max Lantern, but it's just a really defensive option for when you're so far ahead. I mean, you took a 7-minute tower, which is amazing. But I'm not sure why you're maxing Lantern, because it just doesn't really seem worth it when you're so far ahead, you know? Okay, so right here, you guys are a little bit too far up. Jinx isn't there. Jinx should probably be here. Yeah, she shouldn't have been farming. If there was a tower here, she should have been attacking the tower. Looks like they'll pick up Katarina, though. That's worth. So yeah, I would just say maybe try to Lantern your Jinx in next time or something. Like, that's not your fault that she wasn't there. But at the same time, like, I probably wouldn't fight that if Jinx wasn't there, because I mean, you're gonna probably die a little bit. Or a few of you are probably gonna die. So, and yeah, they basically might get Dragon off this. Yeah. Let's see what happens. So you're just kind of hanging out. I don't think there's anything you can do, really. I would have actually walked up there and just maybe threatened them a little bit because they were so low. Oh my god, I thought you got that with the hook. That would have been godlike. But that's okay. I would have actually, something you could have done, because they were so low and you had vision of that, is you could have walked here or here, and like, you don't have to actually do anything, but you could just walk up, put another ward here, and just start like whipping people, right? Or throw out some hooks, flay, whatever. Because they're so low that like, if they go on you, you could probably get away. Can you help an Annie kill Tristana? Nice. You could probably get away, but even if you go here and like all 4 of them get off dragon and go on you and kill you, like that's worth it because you stop them from getting dragon, right? So like you dying there would have been worth if you could have denied them dragon. If you could have distracted them long enough for Jinx to like kill 1 or 2 of them with her ult, or maybe like your Hecarim could have come over here or something and you could have stopped. Just denying a team dragon for a kill is worth. So that's something you can think about in the future. Okay, so right there, Katarina basically got off her full ultimate before you flayed. So try to just interrupt Katarina ultimate a little bit sooner. You have 2 ways of interrupting it, with your hook or your flay. Looks like Annie's taking one for the team. Oh no, Annie got a kill too. That's pretty worth if Annie gets a kill before she dies. So yeah, that's going to be something you're going to be able to look for throughout the rest of this game, and just in general, like anytime you can interrupt channeled abilities, do that, because Thresh's abilities are pretty short cooldown. Flay and, well, Death Sentence goes down quite a bit once you max it. This is another reason I would max them before Lantern, or at least one of them, because the cooldowns go down. Especially Death Sentence. Death Sentence goes down to like a 6-second cooldown at max rank or something absurd. I don't know the exact number, but it's pretty low. And it also goes down 3 more seconds when you land it. Yeah. So maybe it's like 8 seconds and then 5 if you land it or something. Something insane. You're just trying to peel for Jinx. I like your positioning here. You're standing in front of Jinx, which is what you should be doing pretty much. Because if Jinx stays alive, you're going to probably win every team fight. Because she's going to basically out DPS Tristana at almost every phase of the game except super late. So your positioning here is also really good. Oh, you threw out your hook a little too late and also kind of like far away. Since Katarina and Renekton can both jump, you gotta consider that. You also didn't even use your box. So you have to basically assume that Katarina is going to jump on Jinx every fight, and you should be standing. Your positioning was good, but you spent like the entire time winding up your hook and then missing it. If you just stand next to Jinx with Flay, and as soon as Katarina jumps in, you flay her and interrupt her ultimate, then you throw down box, then you throw out the Death Sentence, right? Because Katarina will use her jump to get in, and she won't have her jump anymore. So you can flay her to interrupt the ult, Death Sentence her, and then box. Okay. Yes, this is the other part. Their team has 2 reset champions with Tristana and what do you call it, Katarina. So I just wouldn't have fought that right there. Like, you didn't have your Volibear, and their top laner Renekton is down here. So he's like all messed up, but you get the idea. Sorry, that just bothers me. So okay, you got some good wards out. That's good. So we talked about your skill build. Your item build is fine for the most part. Did you not? You didn't get any gold generation item. So I would say that's a mistake. Like, getting the Dorn shield against that lane is fine. I think that's good. But you still want to get a gold generation item just because they are worth so much. Like, they just give you free gold, they give you stats, and they build into things that you want. Like, you can get, you know, the the coin active, the face of the mountain active, like all those things are like really good that you'll want as a support player. So right there, when Annie stunned them, that would have been a perfect time to throw out a Death Sentence, right? Because they're stunned for 1.75 seconds from Pyromania, from Annie. So you could have 100% landed a free stun there and then chained that into Flay and stuff like that. So that was just a little bit of an opportunity. Right here, you're doing a great job of kiting Amumu, and you're positioning yourself in between Mumu and your team, and you did a perfect job of kiting. You intercepted him with Flay, you ulted, you know, you kept him off Jinx and everyone, so that was great. He ended up getting his ultimate off anyway and everyone, but it didn't matter. At that point, he was dead. And he could have maybe killed Hecarim, but that doesn't matter. You just want to protect Jinx, pretty much. So good job. That was very well played. But yeah, the gold generation item, just pick it up. Even if you go Doran's Blade, or Doran's Shield, excuse me, that's perfectly fine. Just pick up a gold pretend anyway. Because they're just so good over the course of the game, even if you get them a little bit late. So right now, you're going for straight Randuins, which is probably fine. Except that I'd be kind of concerned about the fact that they have Katarina and Amumu for magic damage. Okay, so you're exhausting Tristana, which is good, but yeah, you have to go the long way now because you're not near your team exactly. But you CC Tristana, which is really good, and Tristana still wants to die, I guess. Oh, she like knocked you aside. Death sentence. Ooh, you almost got him, but Janna sped him up. So yeah, like anyway, let's go back to their team. So Mummy, Katarina do all magic damage. Tristana ult and her E actually do magic damage, and her jump. Janna does some magic damage, and actually Renekton ult does magic damage. So that's actually a lot of magic damage. So I think like getting a Locket here would have been better than a Randuin's as a first big item. So looks like you guys can finally do some work here. Okay, Janna flashes. So just something to think about when you itemize as a support is what damage are your opponents doing. So it's not that Randuin's is a bad item. Randuin's is an excellent item, and you're going to want to get one eventually. Good job getting the dragon. But at this point in the game, a Locket would be massive. Okay, that was really good. That was great. You followed up on the Annie stun that time. That's perfect. I would like to see you do more of that. It's just such an easy chance for you to land a death sentence because they're stunned for so long. So very good job there. Now we're pushing mid. Nice. So like right there, you didn't even get a kill, but it didn't matter. Like you landed the death sentence, you CC'd Renekton, and you were able to get a ton of damage on him. That was really good because you interrupted Katarina ult a lot faster than you normally have. So very nice job there. Jinx should be fine, yeah. Hecarim died, that's okay. You didn't die, and Jinx didn't die, so... Okay, yeah, definitely don't recall here next time. I think you could have gotten away if you just kept running. Try not to recall in the enemy jungle, though, because the odds are they're gonna, maybe chase you, and that's not that far from their base, so they could, probably get to you. So we're doing some base defense with Volibear. See, like if you had Face of the Mountain, for instance, in the last fight, you could have stayed in a little bit longer. Face of the Mountain is also pretty sick for fighting Katarina, because whoever she's focusing, you can Face of the Mountain them and Lantern them to give them the shield and the escape or whatever. And you can just kind of troll her and deny her resets. If you have the Ancient Coin item path, I don't know what the hell it's called, something Ascension, Talisman of Ascension. If you had that, you could speed everyone up. You could have sped up Volibear when you were top lane and gotten a kill there. You could speed people up and run away from Katarina ult. There's a lot of like playmaking potential you can do with those support items. Like that's the other reason they're so good. It's not just the gold generation, it's the fact that they actually build into end game items now. So that's something you want to consider. Right now you're just focusing Katarina, keeping her off your team. That's really good. It was pretty aggressive, but I like it. The fact that you stuck it to Katarina, and basically if you put the question to an enemy, like they have to then play on the defensive. And right there, Katarina died. So that was really good. The positioning here is really awkward. I don't think there's much you could have done there. Like basically you just kind of tanked for everyone, and Jinx should auto attack here. Oh, okay. Jinx could have definitely killed Tristana there, but you did pretty much everything you could have done there, I think, assuming you popped Randuin's. But like if you had a support item or Locket, I think it would be much more valuable at this stage of the game for what you're trying to do and who you're fighting. Okay, again, you're focusing Katarina, but now, see, like, use both interrupts, and now she can ult, and it's going to be harder to stop her. But fortunately, Annie shows up, and she can just dumpster Katarina, so that's really good. So the one thing which you did a good job there of doing was you focused Katarina again, as usual, and you got her chunked out with the help of Hecarim, I believe. And it worked out because Annie was right there and not preoccupied. But at the same time, just be careful that you don't burn both of your interrupt abilities, and then Katarina gets a free ultimate off. So this Tristana is just running away with everything. See, like if you had Talisman here, you could have sped yourself up and probably landed a death sentence. Your positioning here is a little bit too far up. Okay. Well, Tristana has positioned herself even worse. Okay, good job. That was really good. So your positioning is really far up, but your Jinx finally got in on the action, and everything worked out. So right now, though, I turn around and I go on this mummy. Okay, good, yeah. So you got on the mummy. That's really good. You're helping Jinx. Oh, yeah, that was not good of Jinx. Yeah, see, I would have got on mummy just a couple seconds earlier because you were kind of pathing back and forth in that mid lane, not doing anything really. I guess you couldn't make up your mind if you wanted to go for Janna or mummy, but 100% I would double back for the mummy. Basically, you want to think, can you, number one, collapse on an enemy, and number two, can you get closer to your teammates? And you could have done both if you go after mummy. Like, that's just one thing you want to think about. You want to think about positioning relative to your teammates and the enemy team and factor both of those things into your decision making. Your positioning here is great. I was going to ask you to pop randoms, and you did that. It's really good. Almost landed the hook. That's okay. So we have Jinx. We should be able to get this tower. You're tanking it, and Jinx got hit with the tornado, though. Okay. Well, yeah, getting dragon is better than this tower, I think, at this point. Because you guys are so low, and you don't want to risk dying. Okay, nice. You're just trying to tank for your team there. I think that's probably fine. As long as Jinx doesn't feed here. Oh, she finally auto-attacked Tristana, and she gets the resets. Oh, Jinx, goddammit. She shouldn't have walked in that brush. But you bought Jinx a few seconds, and she finally decided to show up and did a good job. Oh, man, there's a lot of action in this game. So, okay, you finally got some magic resist, which is great. But again, just to go back to itemization, I would have liked a Locket versus a Banshee's Veil. Because, like, Banshee's Veil is really good on high-value targets, but, like, you're Thresh, so you're already getting, like, a ton of armor. You already got 200 armor, and, like, you're already tanky, so they're not really going to be focusing you. And, like, if they do focus you, then it's fine. I mean, like, there's been plenty of fights this game where you've gotten all your spells off and they focused you, and you just bought Jinx a bunch of time, basically, you know? So, God, these fights are intense. So yeah, like Banshee's Veil is like more valuable. Not that you can't ever build Banshee's Veil on a support, but like if you're like I said, I would build like Locket because Locket will bring more to your team. It'll still give you similar stats, but like, you know, the enemy team isn't thinking like, oh, we need to pop Thresh's Banshee Veil ASAP. You know what I mean? Like they're thinking that about like Jinx maybe. Or someone else, so you got to go back here. You tanked them a really long time though. That was actually impressive. So like yeah, they're not gonna try to pop your Banshee's Veil, so it's just not super like worth. And even if they pop your Banshee's Veil and like CCU, you're probably gonna live because you have like 3,000. Yeah, you have almost 3,000 health and 200 armor. I mean, you're super tanky, so you're not gonna die right away anyway. But Locket. So basically, since they're not gonna focus you as much, Locket is more useful because you can give the shield to your whole team. Right? So that's just what I would say about that. And then since they do a lot of magic damage anyway, if you have Locket, Randuin's, and like Face of the Mountain or something in a future game, then you're still getting blown up by magic damage, which you can look at on the death recap. So when you die, pull it up and see like what's killing you. Then you can get Banshee's Veil, is what I would say. Just for some build optimization and to make your team fights even stronger and support your team with your itemization that certain items can provide, like Locket and stuff like that. Okay, nice job. Oh, God, Jinx. Man, I mean, you played that really well. You caught Renekton and basically set Jinx up for a kill. She just went in too hard. Or she just went in way too close. She should have switched on rockets until Slice and Dice was done. Pretty much, but she didn't. That's not your fault, though. I mean, you played that pretty much perfectly. Okay, here, though, you're a little far up. I think you'll live, though. Oh, nice. Okay, you distracted them for a bit. That's good. You got home guards. Oh, whip him. Yeah. Nice. Okay, that was really good. We're just defending the base here. I'm going to speed this up because we're just killing minions. You're just going for more tank, which I agree with. You're trying to save Hecarim here. We're fighting a dragon. Okay, so this is interesting positioning here. I like that you're trying to focus Katarina. Yeah, see, this is an example of something I was worried about when I discussed this earlier, is you didn't have your crowd control for Katarina. Now, granted, you did also get Janna ulted, which isn't your fault, but I don't think any of your interrupt abilities were ready anyway. So that's a 2 for 3, and they get Dragon, so that's unfortunate. This Tristana is pretty big. Tristana is really, really good late game, just like Jinx. So in terms of scaling, I'd say they scale about the same. Tristana is strictly better right clicker, but Jinx offers so much in terms of utility and AoE damage and teamfight and stuff like that. So you just pop Rakton's Guardian Angel by yourself. That's impressive. And you're still going after this Rakton. You finally get him killed. Nice. He's probably pretty pissed. That was a really good job. You basically burned out his Guardian Angel solo, and then you helped run him down for your team. That was great. So you've got Thornmail here. Thornmail here. I really like that at this point in the game because they have a Tristana. Tristana is purely relying on right clicks. Tristana's ultimate does not scale with AD, attack damage. It doesn't do physical damage. It does magic damage, so it kind of falls off damage-wise as the game goes on. And Tristana's E does magic damage, so her all of her damage pretty much comes from purely right clicks as the game goes on, because her abilities don't scale with attack damage. So Thornmail is really punishing against Tristana. Even she has double lifesteal. I don't know if she did that specifically for you. That wouldn't surprise me, because you kind of on Tristana you kind of need double lifesteal items to deal with Thornmail, because she's just so reliant on attacks. Wow, that was good. That was very good. You and Volibear just kind of like ran them down. You made a play. Tristana's ripping up your base, which is unfortunate. Yeah, I mean, you want to push this, but your teammate needs to go defend the base so you don't lose the game. Tristana's trying to X-Peck at you. You almost did. Damn. I mean, I understand what you were doing. You were trying to get a tower, but like if your teammates didn't go back there, you would have lost the game, literally. So I don't think you guys have the damage for this, unfortunately. Volibear doesn't... Volibear actually has damage items, but he doesn't do that much damage where you can just solo Baron. Bummer. Come on, Hecarim, get her. Okay, good. You got that. You have inhibitors now, though. Yeah, okay, so we're fighting Rakton in the Baron pit. This is messy. Okay, his GA came back, but you popped it again. This Rakton must hate. You just... His GA comes back and you immediately get it popped again. Yeah, so it's tough because Katarina does so much AoE damage, but this Tristana is so fed. So like, I would probably focus the Tristana because she doesn't have Last Whisper, so it's gonna be really hard for her to solo kill you. So right now you're on Katarina, which is good. Oh no, you're on Rakton, sorry. Hecarim's on Katarina, and another really good hook. Another Guardian Angel burned. You can't stop him from taking this, I don't think, unfortunately, yeah. Like, you can't DPS him as Thresh, you can just, like, CC and interrupt. But your team finally kills him. You're only down one inhibitor, which is really good. I'd like to see you try to push out mid. One of your teammates killed bot inhibitor, I wasn't paying attention, so that means that... I guess you can go for Baron. Yeah, I guess. If Jinx is here, Jinx is not here. Jinx needs to be here. Your Jinx has made some pretty suboptimal plays this game. Like, her positioning right now is even more strange. Oh my god, you got Janna. Okay, well that worked out. Jinx gets in there. Laying down the minigun beats. Wow, nice. That was a great hook on Janna. Huge play. Alright, so you're trying to tank this Rakton and pull him away from your team. Nice exhaust. Really good death sentence into exhaust. Katarina got you, but it's not that big of a deal. If Jinx just attacks the Nexus, yeah. I thought Jinx was gonna like die to Katarina there. I was like, oh my god. Okay, so yeah, I mean, you kind of like carried your team there. Like, that was really good. There were some opportunities you missed on, but that's fine. We can talk about that right now. So let's see, questions that you had for me. You asked about positioning in general, roaming, and when should you ward versus engaging, and who should you focus for peeling. So kind of mostly team fight things and mid-game stuff. So let's just jump into that. Okay, so basically your positioning in general, like your positioning in lane was very good. You tried to keep yourself in between Jinx and the enemy team, which is great. For roaming and rotations, I mean, I thought you were pretty much always near your team. The only time I would have altered my rotation a little bit was when Tristana was like taking her base. I would have recalled. I understand you wanted to get a tower, get some payment because you just made some plays, but that was really close to your Nexus going down. So just try to pay attention to that if you're getting backdoored next time. I would say you warded pretty well in general. There was that one time, the first time you went to ward, you warded like at 5:30, and I mentioned this earlier in the video, but I would just ward around like 4:30, because that's probably when you're going to get ganked most likely. It is a mummy jungle, so it depends, but like I think around 4:30 is a good time to ward now. So yeah, I would just make that small change. And maybe a little bit earlier if it's like a really aggressive jungler. You asked about how to peel better in general. So I mean, I think in general you peeled pretty well, like from a defensive standpoint. Like you stuck near your Jinx, you positioned yourself in front of her, and you tanked a lot of damage for her, so that was really good. In terms of like peeling offensively, like who you should be focusing, like in this game, I think I would have you focus Katarina a lot, so you kind of shut her down for the most part, but she still got a lot of ultimates off. Like I would have probably laser focused in on stopping Katarina ult as fast as possible. So that means like basically holding all of your abilities. There were a couple times, for instance, when like in the river, when you chased her, you death sentence into auto attack into Flay and stuff, and you forced her to burn her Zonias because she was scared of dying, and then Annie rolled up and dumped on her and killed her. Like, that was great. But there were other times when you did that, and it didn't kill her, and Annie wasn't ready, and then Katarina was able to, like, ult, and then Janna ulted you away, so you couldn't stop her, and she, like, ripped through your team. So I think at least in the mid-game, you have to prioritize Katarina and just save Death Sentence and Flay for her. Like, just literally just sit near your Jinx and just watch Katarina, and as soon as she... No matter what happens, like if Janna tries to CC you and stuff, just flash Flay Katarina. I mean, you can like Flay her, you can Death Sentence her, you can exhaust her. Death Sentence is the worst of those options because it takes time to wind up, but if Janna knocks you away or you're far away, you can Death Sentence Katarina because she's spinning in place, so she can't dodge it. But if you're right next to her or you have flash, just flash Flay or flash exhaust, or just do one of those if you don't need flash. That'll mitigate her ult. Once she's dead, like she'll die like halfway through the team fight and Tristana will be in the back, then you have to prioritize Tristana. Tristana is a little bit trickier because she's so long range. Basically, you built perfectly against her. You built Thornmail, you built Randuin's, that's great. The only other thing is you could build Frozen Heart, but the aura is shorter than her attack range, I believe, so you have to make sure you're in range of her, and she has that snowflake thing above her head. So that's pretty much what I would say. But in general, I mean, you made some really, really good plays. Like you hooked Janna that one time. You were on Katarina most of the time. You know, you peeled for Jinx optimally almost every fight, I'd say. So that was really good. There were just some like optimization things. Like you in general know what you're doing. You just have to make some quicker decisions and excuse me. You know, switch things up just a little bit, and you'll be in good shape. And I believe that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, guys. If you hit the subscribe button above my head that's going to pop up, you'll get an email every time there's a new video. Stay frosty.